Are you listening to the Michael Bolton rant?
I am. It's great. I know what you're saying.
Where's My Bourbon ties into tonight's episode.
How?
It's from the movie Blue Velvet, which is a David Lynch movie.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you figure that out so quickly?
Well, I typed in "Where's my bourbon," and then I clicked the first clip.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Instagram and Bluesky, but not TikTok at Namely90s. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And finally, what's the point? We're not doing, I mean, Patreon, whatever, at Namely90s.
Yeah, it's season 4.
Season 4. Well, here we are. I'll apologize to the listener in advance. My voice is not so good. I went to a minor league hockey game and shouted too much and drank a little bit of beer. So
nice,
but not bourbon.
Don't worry. This is one of those. This is a throwback to season 2, where it's an episode. It's an informative episode, just an informational episode, and it's about something that you'll probably fall asleep over. So
it's an expository episode, a suppository episode.
Before we get there, happy Monday if you're listening to this on Monday the 20th.
Happy Inauguration Day.
Good MLK Day to y'all.
They've moved it indoors to the Rotunda because it's too cold in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
They're expecting hundreds of thousands of people. They've never erected more fencing.
Big strong men came up to them weeping.
We have the biggest fences. We have the longest fences, the most fences. They're beautiful.
I think Mike Pence, or not Mike Pence, Mike, who's the one that looks like a overgrown child in the head of the Senate?
I don't know which one. Pence.
Mike Johnson.
Oh, Johnson.
has declared that the because we leave the flags at half mast for a month after a president's funeral, but since it's Inauguration Day, they want them hanging high.
Yeah, they don't want a semi during the erection. I mean, election. No, that doesn't work either.
The insurrection.
But no, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Yeah, no.
It was funny. They were like, we're going to move it indoors because it's unsafe for the people and the first responders and blah, 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 the cold weather. Mm-hmm. But then he was like, but if you do come out, dress warm, wink. Like, really? That's what he wrote? Like, he didn't write it exactly like that, but that's essentially what was implied. So,
I mean, he's trying to make up for his first inauguration when it was empty, and he's like, I had bigger crowds than MLK, and now I'm being inaugurated on MLK Day.
Anyway, oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Anywho, what else? So yeah, the end of democracy is scheduled for later this week, and TikTok is now dark, apparently, or will be dark, likely.
We might own Greenland by then and be in a war with Denmark.
It's about taking over other people's land by force. Wear tight pants while you do it.
What are you talking about? That's insane.
Anyway, what else? Something about the Switch 2?
Oh yeah, they announced the Switch 2 last week. Cool. Which bigger screen, bigger Joy-Cons that are magnetic, so you don't have to slide into that little slot. And
some people enjoy that experience.
Yeah. Now it makes a magnetic click sound when it clicks in. So on 4/2, no, not 4/20, 4/2, April 2nd, there's going to be a big Nintendo just direct or whatever they're called, talking about the features. But in the video for the Switch 2, they showed the hardware, and they showed a new Mario Kart that's probably going to launch with it.
Nice.
So, yeah. Just when you thought that you had enough Switches for the family, now there's a second one. And it's backwards compatible.
Is there a light?
Of the two?
Will
probably
there be?
Not yet.
Maybe.
In a year or two. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Switch 2.
Switch 2. Also, David Lynch died this week. Rip to the max.
Rip to the max. Rip to the max.
Andrew, you may know him as the bartender from the Cleveland Show.
Never watched the Cleveland Show.
Never watched it. Really? My name is Cleveland Brown. But I'm not allowed to do that voice anymore. He did the original Dune movie before doing a bunch of crazy, like weird surrealist movies that have a lot of like cults
that I would be uninterested in, I imagine.
Most likely. But he also made Kyle MacLachlan, like the mayor from Portlandia, or the guy from Twin Peaks. He's the detective in Twin Peaks.
Okay, Twin Peaks. I know that show. I know of it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either. Guess it's over now. But that was the peak 90s. That was peak 90s. That was 91 and 92. He did Eraserhead. He did Dune, The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, which is we just determined is where one of the love line drops is from.
Yes, the infamous "Where's my bourbon?" comes from that movie. We found that out just now, right before this recording.
Just now. We've been quoting that since we were
in middle school.
In middle school.
That's great. A bunch of middle schoolers running around the playground yelling, "Where's my bourbon?"
Yep. Let's see. He did a Nick Cage movie called Wild at Heart, The Lost Highway, which stars Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette. Yeah. I don't know. We'll get back to this later in the episode. We'll do a BuzzFeed quiz. Laura Dern's in one called Mulholland Drive with Naomi Watts, Justin Theroux, other people I don't know.
That's a street in LA area.
Oh, and she's also in. Oh, sorry, she's not in that one. She's in Inland Empire.
Another California-based movie.
It's
not Spokane. Which they also call Spokane the Inland Empire.
Really? Experimental psychological thriller. Yeah, I feel like you would hate that as well. Laura Dern, Justin Theroux.
That movie makes you want to throw up.
Yeah. Oh, also cameos with Terry Crews, William H. Macy.
This is the sort of highbrow comedy you can expect from this podcast. William H. Macy just started a rewatch of VR again. When he's in that show. Crazy. He's only 42.
Really? But he looks like he's 80.
William H. Macy has looked 65 for 40 years.
His entire life.
It's ridiculous. The mustache, the soup strainer.
Wait, so that was post Fargo then?
Which one?
William H. Macy?
Well, ER started in 1994, 4.
And it was 96 for Fargo. You're only on the first season?
Let's see. Air date was 1994. You appeared in the first episode? Yeah, you appeared in the first episode.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, William H. Macy was in the first several seasons.
Wow. Oh, yeah. He played the recurring role of Dr. David Morgenstern from 94 to 09.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I didn't start the timer, so
we've done some amount of time. Okay. William H. Macy appeared in 31 episodes. There you go.
Oh, it's not a lot of episodes.
It's a 10th.
True, but spread over so many seasons. Yeah. I feel like I had one more thing. Got some feedback on our two special Christmas specials.
It sucked.
Well, just like really, we had to sync it up with the episode. I'm like, yeah, it was an audio commentary. But fair. We did a podcast, so it was just us going.
What do you want to just sit there and I mean, no offense, but listen to us talk about a thing you've never seen in real time. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I think so. It was Andy gave me the feedback, and it was just like, they were specials. We couldn't do the normal thing.
You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. That's what I say.
We hit our Monday episode drop goal, which is all that matters.
We already knew we were quitting that. Okay. Back off.
Shout out. No, I don't think it was negative feedback.
Kidding. I'm smiling.
Anyway, with his disappointment, I said you need to come back on the show. No, but I think Andy will be back for a more informed episode than this episode is going to be in the future. And looking forward to that in season 18 of in these last 18 episodes of Namely 90s. All right. So in the spirit of doing things that I want to do before we finish this show, we're going to talk about Toonami. And I think I talked about it a little bit with the episode on Dragon Ball Z. But Andrew gets to buckle up and listen to me talk about Toonami. Do you remember what Toonami was? Do you know Toonami?
I'm familiar with it. If I fall backwards, please call 911. You know where I live now. If I just collapse.
True. I'm not. Yeah. Don't call your wife who's in the other room. Just call 911.
So Toonami. So for me, like, I think I know what was the follow up to Toonami? It was
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim. That's what I'm more familiar with. But this is kind of the precursor.
Yeah. So Toonami was a late night television programming block on or currently is a late night programming television block on Cartoon Network. It was originally a weekday afternoon block for the kids getting off school. It started in 1997, and it ran in this format until 2004 when it transitioned to a Saturday evening schedule, which I think was technically post Adult Swim, or it's like it would go Adult Swim into Toonami.
Oh, I see. I didn't
Saturday
realize there was a
nights.
difference.
Yeah. So like the early era was when we were kids. It's a portmanteau of cartoon and Toonami. And yeah, it's on Cartoon Network. The block originally aired until its original conclusion in 2008. So 97 to 2008. It primarily targeted older children and adolescents aged 7 through 18. Which was us at that time. It became known for showcasing action-oriented programming, particularly Japanese anime. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Sea anemone? Japanese sea anemone?
Yes.
Anemone?
The urchin, you put it on the sushi.
Anemone.
Anemone.
Is it anemone or anemone?
It's the first one.
Anemone.
Anemone. Anime, which gained widespread popularity with American audiences. In our Akira Toriyama episode, I talked about that and how it brought Dragon Ball to the Western world, or Dragon Ball Z specifically. It was distinguished by its space theme aesthetic, anime music videos, drum and bass influenced soundtracks. There's a lot of like techno background for all the interstitials, and its robot host Tom, short for Toonami Operations Module. Although the first host from 1997 to 1999 was Moltar from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It was kind of like a spin-off of Space Ghost originally.
That's funny because before this episode, we were talking about Loveline, and Loveline connects later in the episode.
Yeah.
But interestingly, Space Ghost appears on the Loveline radio program more than once.
Really?
And Adam and Drew appear on Space Ghost Coast to Coast, I think more than once as well. So in case you're looking for that.
That I remember, because wasn't that when they did Loveline for MTV, like the visual show?
Yes, but he appeared on the radio program as well. Or didn't appear,
awesome.
But guests.
Yeah.
Guested. Hello,
Space
citizen.
Space Ghost. That's really cool. I should check out those episodes. Because Space Ghost Coast to Coast was like a late night talk show on Cartoon Network. back in the day. And Moltar was one of the characters on it that they put on the ship for Toonami. The block started in March 17th, 1977, and with Thundercats, Cartoon Roulette, Voltron, and The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. I watched Thundercats and Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest was like a updated edgy version reboot of the like 60s Hanna-Barbera cartoon with how Stewie references in Family Guy Haji.
Oh yeah.
At the airport.
Is it the Macaleka High? No, that's the other one. That's the
no, that's
Pee-wee Herman. He goes Sim Salabim. He's like, maybe do less of that or something like that.
Yes, that was Haji in. Was not Haji in. She's at the airport. Stewie just like the random TSA agent.
Oh, yeah, so you've been selected for a random screening, but he's clearly the only like Middle Easterner in the line.
Yeah. So those are those characters.
Sim Salabim.
Yeah, maybe less of that. So yeah, it took over for Power Zone, the Super Adventures block, which was the most recent iteration of it on Cartoon Network, which was a mainstay of the network since its introduction in 1992. Toonami spun off from Space Ghost Coast to Coast since its first host was Moltar, and it aired on weekday afternoons. The block was originally hosted by Space Ghost, villain turned producer. Why I just keep reading the same thing over and over again. Yeah. But then in July of 1999, we entered the Tom 1 era. The first iteration of Tom, as I said, Toonami's operation module. It was a new environment. It was on a ghost ship, or ghost planet spaceship Absolution. And it introduced himself to new viewers with this speech. So it's a brand new Toonami, but the mission objective remains the same. My name is Tom. I'm the new Moltar. Welcome aboard the Ghost Planet Spaceship Absolution, Cartoon Network's first and only interstellar. Oh my God. Maybe I should just play the actual clip. Only interstellar broadcast and exploration vehicle. I'll give you the tour later. From this day forward, she is completely responsible for all Toonami transmissions. I'm taking you guys into the new millennium. No big changes now. Same show, same attitude, new place to do it. New guy to do it with. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get back to it. Later.
I guess I'm not going to waste time, but after wasting so much time and being so superfluous. Also, like Moltar was just vaporized or something, killed.
Yeah, just jettisoned from the Absolution. I think Moltar was doing ground transmissions, and then now Tom was aboard a spaceship.
Later, remember when people said later?
Later, skater, I think was the thing people said. Andrew's face says no.
No, they said it. Ugh, God, we were so cringy back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was still like, we still had AIM away messages
later, bro.
At that point. Later, bro. Soon afterwards, the first program of the Tom era, the Sailor Moon episode Cosmetic Caper premiered. It also introduced Powerpuff Girls on Toonami, becoming the first original Cartoon Network series on the block. And it introduced introduced the Toonami's Midnight Run, which might have predated Adult Swim. It was a 5-hour Saturday night block that ran from starting in March 2000 until Toonami moved officially to that time in 2003. This version of Toonami aired Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Voltron, Robotech, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, The Big O, and Outlaw Star. And then Midnight Run even had uncut versions of Gundam Wing and played music videos that like Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz, some songs from Daft Punk, their 2001 album Discovery, blah, blah, blah. And then they tried to make a Saturday morning incarnation in the 2000s on the WB. Toonami Rising Sun. Getting a little culturally insensitive at this point.
Yeah, there's a Michael Crichton book called Rising Sun, by the way.
Does it talk about the Pacific Theater?
It's about Japan, but in what? I actually haven't read that book. Let's read about it. Rising Sun.
Well, because the Rising Sun, I believe, refers to that certain style of Japanese flag from the war.
It says it's about a murder in the Los Angeles headquarters of Nakamoto, that was offensive, a fictional Japanese corporation.
Nakamoto.
It's rated pretty well. I should actually probably read that. He doesn't write a lot of crime novels.
Yeah, I don't.
There was a movie
about that one.
Who knew?
Really?
Yeah.
Was it in the 90s?
Let's see. The book was published in 92.
92.
And the movie was in 93, and it was Connery and Snipes.
We have to watch that.
Yeah, actually.
You're the man now, dog.
Apparently, it's a buddy cop crime thriller. Can you have a buddy cop crime thriller?
Rush Hour?
So it's got Harvey Keitel.
Whoa.
It was directed by someone, Philip Kaufman. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you
go. Put that on the list.
Yeah.
See if we could get a boot or reboot on that one. Starting in September 2000, Toonami had some special interactive events known as Total Immersion events, which the first one introduced an AI matrix to the ship called Sarah. And The Intruder was in the miniseries that aired during Toonami on the September 2000. And yeah, there's an alien blob attacking the ship, only known as the Intruder, which ultimately devoured Tom. Anyway, yeah, but he came back as Tom 2.0 and would occasionally get a refresh throughout the years. One of the things I remember the most from like the early 2000s, late 90s promos was they had the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, do all the like commercial voiceovers. So like the Gundam Wing one, which I annoyed the crap out of you with a lot as a kid.
Oh
yeah. But it's just like in the far future, the space has been colonized by human being. Yeah. But yeah, with I didn't realize as a kid that was the voice of Optimus Prime. I just knew, damn, that sounded good. Yeah, some other tidbits. The oldest program on Toonami was the Fleischer Superman cartoons, which were made in the early 90s. Oh, there's also Super Friends. Sorry, I forgot to go through some of the programming from the 90s. In 97, we had Thundercats, Voltron, Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, as well as Cartoon Roulette, which comprised of Space Ghost, Birdman and the Galaxy Trio, the Herculoids, My Tor, Shazam, Teen Force, The Impossibles, and the 1940s Fleischer Superman cartoons. 98, we got Robotech, we got Beast Wars Transformers, Sailor Moon, the Dick Dub, as they say, Dragon Ball Z, and Super Friends. 99, we got Reboot, which great series. I watched that in the early 90s. Ronin Warriors and the Powerpuff Girls. And then I'm just gonna go through my era. There's also Mobile Suit Gundam Wing in the 2000s, Batman the Animated Series, Tenchi Muyo, Superman the Animated Series, Dragon Ball, Outlaw Star, Card Captors, Batman Beyond for some reason, Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team, which was pretty choice, and then I stopped watching around.
Why did I not like anything on TV? Like, why did I not like any shows? That's weird. Maybe I just wasn't into it.
Well, I mean, you were really into the Japanese stuff, right?
True.
And then you had an older brother, so probably he monopolized the television.
Yeah,
more.
I think I just went outside most of the time. I just wasn't like a TV kid.
True.
I watched some.
I was easily influenced by the melodrama of giant robots transforming and attacking things. Probably because I liked the Power Rangers when we were young. But yeah, that was my era of Toonami.
Okay. Well, I couldn't even react to it because I literally my what I know is that there was a thing called Toonami and it was on Cartoon Network, and that is the extent of my knowledge.
And that's the more you know.
Well, I mean, I'm just being honest here. What am I gonna say?
No. Yeah, I needed to do a Toonami episode. I knew you knew nothing about it, other than I used to quote that One Gun Wing commercial a lot to the point of annoying you to
I knew some of the shows you mentioned. I knew of them, so that's something.
Okay. Yeah. And we got the Haji reference from Family Guy. It doesn't even sound good saying the name.
Yeah,
anymore.
I'd cut back on that.
So yeah,
he's like, he says about like, and you'll have to take off your lovely hat.
Yeah. Yep.
What an irreverent show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So current era Toonami. So Toonami Left came back, and current era Toonami airs every Saturday night from 12 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. with a bunch of modern Japanese anime dubs and Naruto.
Sorry.
Cool.
Texting.
No worries. And with that, this is where we normally throw in a commercial. So maybe in the future, when we're not paying for hosting, this is where you hear it.
And now back to the show.
All right. So I figured to honor David Lynch, who was a man of great surrealist vision.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away earlier this week.
I heard two days ago, yesterday. Yeah, 2 days ago. I don't know. I saw the stuff on Facebook, FaceTube, TikTok.
Facebook. I think I've read that Kyle MacLachlan had a really good note of his passing. And yeah. Anyway, let's honor him with
in his honor. Let's do a terrible BuzzFeed quiz.
There are 4 questions. It's a community contributor. It was made in 2016.
All right, let's do this. Go.
It's which David Lynch film are you? And you can find this in the notes for the episode. Choose a cinema classic with a picture of Eraserhead, and that's Tim Meadows. Nope, that's
right. The guy from SNL. Anyway, so what are the choices?
I guess that's Jack Nance. I always thought that was the guy from Shawshank. The choices are Sunset Boulevard, The Godfather, something Andrew will never watch on principle for some reason. 8.5. Monseigneur's Monsieur Holut's Holiday, Rear Window, Empire Strikes Back, The Wizard of Oz, A Clockwork Orange, or Paris, Texas.
How many of these movies do you think I've seen?
You've seen 1.
2.
Oh, Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm gonna go Wizard of Oz.
Okay, because I'm gonna. Empire Strikes Back is actually my favorite movie. So,
okay.
The Godfather is great, though. Have you seen the Family Guy clip of them talking about The Godfather?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
Okay, I'm going to send that to you after the episode. It's very you.
Next one. Pick a Twin Peaks character. Agent Cooper, Laura Palmer, Audrey Horne, Peter Martell, Log Lady, Sarah Palmer, Shelley Johnson, Big Ed Hurley, or The Man from Another Place.
It makes you just wonder, what was the show?
It's weird.
So I get first choice, which means I can choose Agent Cooper and
so go with the G-Man. I like Log Lady because it just seems funny.
Very surreal. On a scale of 1 to 9, how surreal are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9?
I don't feel very surreal. I'm gonna say 3.
Really? Okay. From a scale of 1 to 9, 3. Okay. 5, I guess, would be average surreal.
Yeah.
Surrealist.
Surrealist.
I think I can push that by 1 or 2. I'll go 6.
Okay.
I'll go 6.
What David Lynch quote speaks to you?
Yeah.
Even bad coffee is better than no coffee at all. Negativity is the enemy of creativity. Never turn down a good idea, but never take a bad idea. My cow is not pretty, but it is pretty to me. Life is very, very complicated, and so films should be allowed to be too. Absurdity is what I like most in life. I believe in creative control. No matter what anyone makes, they should have control over it. I don't think that people accept the fact that life doesn't make sense. I think it makes people terribly uncomfortable. This whole world is wild at heart and weird on top.
That's what they said. Oh, it's my choice. You know, when you were reading all of those off, the one that spoke to me most was, I believe in creative control. No matter what anyone makes, they should have control over it.
And I believe that even bad coffee is better than no coffee at all.
You're going to get Twin Peaks, aren't you?
And drum roll, please. I got The Elephant Man. I am not an animal. I am a human being. I am a man.
I got Dune. I don't know what that says about me, but
they get to breathe through a tube that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah. That's all it says is Dune.
Dude.
The poster says, and a young leader with incredible powers will emerge to command an army for 5 million warriors, and in the final battle for the control of a universe and its source of ultimate power, the planet.
This is a travesty, Dune. By the way. Ripped to the max.
Ripped to the max. Let's hear about which one did you get?
The Elephant Man.
Oh.
Yeah, so they call me in the bedroom.
The Elephant Man is not popping up on the film. There he is. 1980 biographical drama film was based on the life of Joseph Merrick, a severely deformed man who lived in London in the 19th century.
Elephantiasis? I think it's like a weird like parasite you get.
Yep.
And that's it for the
Elephant test.
Elephant Man. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm never gonna watch it. Ripped to the max.
Probably not. That's a weird choice. Ripped to the max, David Lynch. And that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday up until the end of May. Find us on Bluesky, Instagram, YouTube at Namely 90s with 90s, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes, unless we get arrested immediately.
Yeah, find us on stage at Donald Trump's inauguration. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, that's us in the Millionaire Suite. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s. Send us to Vegas for our final episodes.
Vegas.
Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Shout out to any of our old collaborators, friends, podcasts that have touched us or we've touched them inappropriately. Let us let us know if you want to touch bases again
inappropriately.
No, it's an open invite to all of our friends. If you can fit our recording schedule in this last run, hit us up.
We'd love to have you.
Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Elephant Man, Pocket Cast, Castbox, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew, and we'll catch you in Donald Trump's America.
Womp womp.